Prince.
King Voss.
Oh Lord, Lord. Mama been down for a minute. Papa been out for a while. Think I'm about to reach my limits. It's getting really hard to smile. I don't even wanna speak. These emotions got me running wild. See, I've been on this road for so long. Hey, it's getting way too heavy for me to carry on. Now I'm just 2 shots away from busting my gun. 1 song away from getting 1 hit. 2 ways to go, which way do I run? What up, everybody? Lift me up. Please don't let me down. Lift me up. Join the live. Big up yourself. It's your girl MC Nads. We're back for season 2 of The Zone. I thought I'd log in a couple minutes early. We can try and get some followers build up. Make sure you share out the link. What up, DJ Nick? In Trinidad. I'm assuming that's what the TNTs were, right? Good interview today. So excited. It's going to be with King Verse, one of the 3 artists on the new track called Lift Me Up, which you hear me playing. Don't forget to share the link, everybody. Season 2 of The Zone. We're back. We are back. It's your girl MC Nads. King Verse, if you're seeing this, I sent a request. I don't know if it's going to work. Hey!
What's up? What's up? What's up?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How you doing?
I am good. Thank you for joining us. I was rocking the tunes in the back, so I'm gonna turn this down so we don't get interference. You're looking sharp like you bathe your skin today.
Everyone must bathe their skin every day.
Of course. Hey, some people don't like to bathe, eh? That's a whole nother topic.
Not for me.
To each their own. So nice to meet you. My name is MC Nads. Thank you for being our first guest. We are back on The Zone for season 2. We got to big up Planet Soca, RiddimStream, all our sponsors, Mavert Customs. Those are our OG sponsors. So I want to big them up for always supporting the movement, supporting the music, supporting the things we're trying to do. I do have to mention 3 more sponsors before I start interviewing you. So I do want to big up Mista Roots, Wiz Records, of course, out in Brooklyn. He was one of our guests in season 1. He's now our season 2 sponsor, so big him up. Also InVIBE Gear. They've got dope apparel. Anybody who wants apparel, just the hookup, you can hit up InVIBE Gear. And of course, board games. I want to pick up Eric from Island Workout. He has a board game that's actually like a game and you can work out. So that's pretty cool. So everybody check him out at Island Workout. And of course, the Moonies Entertainment for hooking us up and doing The Zone. Everybody that's locked on, I've got King Verse in the Instagram screen. How are you? How's your day going?
I am great. I am great. So far, so good. Been up from early. Hit the gym, do my little rituals. I had an interview early this morning as well. So, staying busy.
Okay, that's good. See, you're a busy man. You start pumping out this music. That's it. Everybody wants you.
It was a minute.
So I'm going to talk a little bit of... Say it again?
I said it's been a minute. So, it feels good.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It has been a minute. I was doing research on you because I know who you are, but I'm like, man, I need some more music, I realized. I'm going to talk to you about that, though. That's one of my questions I have for you. I know for people, like, especially in Toronto, who might not be as familiar with you, I wanted to start a little bit about some of your back history and what you were really involved in, because I don't think people realize that you were a hip-hop and rap artist before you even got into soca. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that started, when you started writing, why you got into that genre first?
Yeah. Well, growing up, I was stuck to the TV in front of BET, and I swear to you, the minute I found that, it was like my life changed. And actually growing up, I was never into music to that degree, to be like an entertainer or anything. I was always more into sports and, getting in trouble with other little stuff. And then found myself digging into hip-hop, digging into the crates, as they say. And I just had a love for it and started writing. Before, I just used to freestyle, and then was encouraged by my brother and some other peers, and they say, yo, you should really, pursue it. So I started to do the hip-hop stuff. We created our little movement here in St. Martin, and it was good. It was a good run while it lasted.
I was looking up some of your stuff, and I'm like, yo, this man you can drop some lyrics.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can drop some lyrics. I was checking, and I get it. And we'll talk about this because you've evolved as an artist anyways, and I know some of the lyrics were a bit heavy and it was different, and you talk about that in other interviews. So is anybody in your family musically inclined, or this was all you just doing your thing?
To be honest with you, I found out recently that actually my dad used to play steel pan, and he was you know, from the age of 5 he actually performed for the Queen of Holland, playing the trumpet, and he was heavily involved with music up until his teens, and then he went and he broke loose and he went wild. But because we never had such a great relationship, I never got those stories. I only got those stories now, you know, and I was like, oh really? Okay. And then actually on my mother's side, I have one of my mother's cousins. He's one of those big violinists, or one of those weird instruments.
Orchestra or something.
Yeah, but for me, directly from my mom and my dad, I'm the only one amongst my siblings that even has a knack for music like that.
Oh, so that's cool. You're setting trends in the family. I like it. So how did you then change from the rap and hip hop to soca? Like what drew you to say, yo, I'm just going to change genres?
Yeah. Well, actually what happens, you know, before I was known as King Verse, I went by the name of Versatile. And then I kind of, you know, put the little Versatweezy in it for a little different spin. Because coming from the Caribbean, especially in St. Martin, and you got to come to St. Martin. When this whole Corona thing, you know, dies down, you come to St. Martin, especially during Carnival, so you can have, you know, the essence of what we're about. But in St. Martin, we have a cultural diversity. So we have people from all walks of life growing up with the hip hop influence, but you still get the soca and Caribbean music. At one point in time here in St. Martin, dancehall used to run the thing. So, you know, growing up, I was like, what do I call myself? I don't know. I'm versatile because I like all kind of music. I'm also half Dominican, so I speak Spanish. And
I noticed that. I noticed that on your Instagram. I'm seeing papi, mommy. I'm like, oh, he's a little mixed up. I like it.
Yeah. So I even got into the Spanish stuff. So, you know, the soca never hit until I started to work in a radio station. My first radio station job was at a radio station called PJ82. And while working there, the crowd that I had to play for was older. And I started to, like, you know, the bug started to just like scratch at me slightly. And I wasn't into it as yet, but I was, you know, bumping the Marshalls, the Kess, you name it, down the line. And then it wasn't until about 2013, I did about 2 or 3 previous soca songs. I was a little disorganized with it. But in 2013, my boy Dizzle Bueno from the Red Eye Crew, he hit me up and he sent this rhythm to me. It was called the Overload Rhythm. And that was what I would consider my first real soca song. It was a song called Getting On Bad, which took St. Martin by storm. And, you know, from then I spoke to my boy G Money, shout out to G Money. And he was like, yo, I like when you do the hip hop. And this is from an American guy. You know what I mean? He grew up in the hip hop and everything. So he was like, yo, I like when you do the hip hop stuff, but when you do that soca, I feel a different kind of beast comes out, you know? So that's one of my good friends. I took listen to him and I was like, all right, let's run with it. And the vibe was different. I was also evolving as a man as well. And I no longer wanted to be affiliated and keep kind of repeating the cycle of, you know, the negative word plays and you know, because I come from, you know, that kind of vibe, you know, the negative energy. So I didn't want to keep being a link in that chain. Same time my son was born and I was like, I gotta set a good example for my son. And soca music is such a happy music, you know, and
definitely.
One weird thing I'm gonna say real quick, I used to host a lot of parties at the clubs here. And one time I was in the club and I was just there watching everybody. And I seen everybody in the VIP. The guys got the mean mugs, the girls watching the other girls. And there's just
standing there,
people enjoying themselves. But it was like a weird moment because like the whole club stopped and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in here with this kind of music. The hip hop, I love hip hop. I'm a hip hop baby. But to keep it real, a lot of the music, or at least the content that they push on people, is so negative driven. And you're in the club and they're talking about, you know, be this and degrade the women. It's like, and everybody just gets mad. And then 9 out of 10 times a fight will happen. So I was like, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, and that makes sense. We're the same age. I did my research. I even found your government name and all. So I grew up in that hip hop era. Like, and I get it. Like, you listen to that music now as you've evolved as a person, as a man, as an artiste. and you're like, holy crap, like I didn't realize what I was singing to. It's funny you say this because I was watching like a Netflix show. They're showing all these old 90s sitcoms, and you know, one of the parents in there was telling one of the characters like, why are you listening to this music? It's very negative. And you're so right, because people are in the club drinking, getting on, and this thing saying, yo, pop off your gun and you're be this and that, and it's like it creates that atmosphere. So I can see why you had to change out. I mean, like you said, always big up to the hip hop because it's foundation. We know where it started, and I get that. But like, yeah, when even like the R&B songs, like I hear some of them, I'm like, oh, R. Kelly, you were bad. You were bad.
Yeah. And I grew up listening because, again, I grew up listening to all of it, and I love it. And I can take it for what it is. I can take it for, yo, the flow is nice. His you know, his pronunciations, his lyrical content is cool, and I won't take it out of context. But the younger generation is like, when a man say, I flip 50 keys, this young man wants to go out there and really emulate that and then get himself in trouble, get locked up, you know, get himself in you know, situations. And soca music, when you go to a soca party, everybody happy, everybody is jumping, everybody is, you know, in a festive mood. I was like, I want to do that. I want to send that energy to people, you know, and give that vibe to people.
Yeah, and that makes sense. You already answered this other question I had, because I was going to ask you about the King Verse name. So before, when you were the hip hop artist, you were called, it was what, Versatile?
It was Versatile, and then Versatweezy, and then with the evolution, you know, I went through some phases. And then
it's okay, we'll talk about that. And then you went with King Verse and dropped the E.
I feel every man, every woman is a queen. Every man is a king in his own right. Now, of course, you know, there are some men that are not worth 2 cents, you know? And
same with women.
But I ain't gonna say that.
I'll say it. We have to call a spade a spade. Not all of them out there is good. Some of them need to lash.
That's fact.
Right? Some of them need, like, let's be real, because everybody's like, for the woman and the woman. Hey, some women, y'all are bad out there. I'll say it because I know. And some men, not all of them are bad either. So you're right. Everybody's a king and queen in their own right. The ones that are just trying to make it every day and just do the damn things. So I get that. You know, Europe. And when I was researching you, and I was like, my God, he's like a 4-time Power Soca champ. I'm talking to a bigwig here. I was like, legit. I've been sweating all day. I'm so nervous. And so I was like, I want to know, because I guess that speaks to your evolution as an artist. You winning Power Soca 4 times, 2016 to 2019. Talk to us about, because I know there's other artists locked on. So talk to us about what it felt like going into a first competition, and then what it felt like just getting into competitions every time after that. And what advice you would give somebody?
Yeah, well, my very first competition I took part, I had a song called Party Atmosphere that was done by my boy, Mari Ferrari. And this was back in, I want to say maybe 2013, 2012 or somewhere around there. And it was horrible. It was horrible. I was uncoordinated. I had like 2 dancers. Just, I was stepping into something I didn't know about. When 2015 came around, they started to create this, what they call the Soca Rumble, which is the Soca Monarch. And that first year, you know, I went in, I held my own, but the veterans, they mopped the floor with me still, you know? And from that year, I kid you not, a full year, my vision was just set on that stage. I was envisioning what I was going to do. I went in the books. You know, and I'm very, the hip hop aspect of me came into the soca. So when that beat dropped and I said lyrics, you know, the place shut down and I started throwing shots, and, you know, they just couldn't, they didn't know what to expect. So when everybody throwing their little jabs at me, I'm like, all right, no problem. You guys forgot that I'm a hip hop artist in the core. So, you know, and the lyrical aspect of it really helped to propel me to the next level. And winning that first championship is like you got the monkey off your back, and it was phenomenal. And then, you know, it's like, okay, next year we got to do this again. And, you know, we just kept raising the bar.
You got to top yourself.
Exactly. And it's easy. The first one is like, it's hard, but it's easy in comparison to 2, 3, and 4. And even they had one year, like, you know, my song wasn't the most popular song. And they had big up to my boy Junior Lane. He actually had the hottest song that year, a song called Rama Mama. And he was like turning up the place. And my song was different, you know?
Right.
But when it came down to, it's all about the stage. And on the stage, you know, you gotta face the king.
Yeah, you do. You have to, and you got to bring it, right? Because if you don't bring it,
Yep.
then you only have yourself to blame if you're not bringing the energy. And I think that's what, because I get a lot of questions from artists, right? Like, how do they do this, and how can I connect with them? You can connect with anybody, but if you don't have the drive to do
Yeah.
it, nobody can push you to push your artistry unless you're pushing it yourself, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
And
really what it is.
you gotta be dedicated. And remember, it's not overnight. Because the success
Right.
that I managed to acquire the last 4 or 5 years, it took 15 years to get there. And
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm nowhere close to where we could be because again,
Yeah.
our slight disadvantage is that I come from a small island, and it's only 37 square miles. If maybe I was from Trinidad, winning 4 crowns would have meant a whole lot more. And I keep it real,
Yeah.
which is the reason maybe, a lot of people like our base coming from St. Maarten, we would have a lot of people that know about us or follow us from in Holland and in France because we belong to those continents, those nations.
Yeah.
But coming out of the islands now, small island, we outnumbered. And make it even
Yeah.
worse,
It's
St.
hard.
Maarten is a culturally diverse place. So there are actually more people from Dominica, Dominican Republic, Haiti, living
Yeah.
in St. Maarten than actually St. Martiners, Because me, myself, as I
Yeah.
said, my mom is from Dominican Republic. My dad is from an island called Anguilla. And, I was born in St. Martin. So this is all I know.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
we have our challenges, but, we still making strides, And then for me, it's about putting
Yeah.
out the quality music.
Yeah. And
And
that's
now
important.
with friends like you now, get out there a little more.
You know, I tell every guest, I'm gonna tell you, and I do it all season. Once you make friends with me, that's it. You don't get rid of me. You
I
know,
appreciate
that's
it.
it. Because I know, and I know how. Like, this is the one thing I love doing. Like, I love doing. This is the one thing I love about my job. Because over here, we'll talk about this, but over here in Toronto, I have my own radio show as well, and I work on a station. And when Mooney's Entertainment and RiddimStream came to me to do this, I said, I'm gonna make friends with every one of these people, right? Like, these are gonna be my friends for life. Even if I don't get to talk to them every day, I get to see like it's cool connecting because it's all those connections and sharing the love of music. Like I've never loved something so much because of all the energy you can exchange with other artists and other performers. So you can't get
Right.
rid of me now. Yeah? That's
It's
it.
okay. It's cool.
So let's talk about some of this because when I was looking you up to, some of your bio or interviews or stuff you've done, I don't think people know that you've dabbled in other art forms. So you've done like videography. I can tell you've done acting because sometimes you put some stuff on your Instagram. I'm like, yo, why isn't this guy acting? So you've done some stuff. I want to know what it was that drew you to these art forms that you felt like you needed to expand out of the music a little bit.
Being the only child at home.
Mm.
No,
That
man.
makes sense. You got to keep yourself entertained.
Yeah, you do. But what happened is because I fell into the radio station world, and at the radio station I met he's now God bless him and rest in Sir Ian Valls. He was a phenomenal director here in St. Martin, and he came through. And at that time he just wrapped up a movie, and I was jokingly saying, "Yo, you got to put me in the next movie, yada yada yada, or put me in a play." And he was like, "All right, all right." And like a year passed, nothing. The next year came, he's like, "Yo, I got a small role for you to act in a play." And if anybody knows like acting on film and acting in a play is completely different. It's more dramatic. Actions have to be bigger for the theater, for the play. So he calls me. He literally had a small role for me, but I read it so well for him. He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna give you the main character." I was like, "What?" My jaw hit the floor. I was like, "I can't do this." So he's like, "Try it out, try it out." He gave me the script, and it was a musical at that. So I had to rap, sing, and learn the lines. He gave me the script. The following week, I came back. I knew my lines and everybody else's lines. And from then, like the bug bit, and it was like history. You know what I mean? And I fell in love with it. And it also gives you that opportunity to expand your wings. Because I can't see myself jumping up on stage forever. But definitely acting, you can do it till 101. So.
Yeah, for sure. You always have to diversify. It's funny because I was just watching something you just said that I watched last night, the Will Smith and the Fresh Prince reunion HBO special, and something they said about, making sure you diversify because you can't do everything forever. You have to keep it diversified in order to keep growing because somebody's going to come up behind you and going to want your mentorship, going to want that. And that's actually going to lead me to my next question. You talk about having worked at a radio station. The one I saw, you mentioned a different one, but I know you also worked, is it another radio station called Laser 101?
Yeah.
And so I understand you do. Yeah, do you still work there or no?
No, no, no. I actually moved on from there. Last year before, we was did a little stint, a morning show on the next radio station called My 88. Because I've been
Yep.
just, after when I won my first chip, the first championship, the music started taking off. So he was like, yo, I want to focus more on this. I can't be in here all day. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but my relationship with all my former colleagues is phenomenal.
Did you and did you ever think you would get into radio broadcasting? Was that like even in the back of your mind?
Never. Funny story,
Never.
right? Real quick, funny story. As a kid, when I used to go to school, I used to catch pay bus to go to school. Because when I was in primary school, I didn't like going on the public school bus. I used to tell my mom, it's not to sound bad, but I used to tell my mom, yo, the kids stink in the bus.
Yo, it's true anywhere you go, eh? Anywhere. I used the public transit over the hot mess.
Yeah.
Don't bathe.
So, and I was like, how you could be smelling like that 7 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, so I used to catch pay bus. Yeah. So the school bus, the pay bus, I catch it early, and when it passed my area, it was empty. So I was at the first seat. And every morning I would go and I would be listening to the same PJ2 where I landed out first. And what they call the death announcements and public service announcements would play. Yeah. And when that came on, it was always like freaky. I'm like, I see like I didn't even want to hear it. Like people dying and you're reading their,
obituaries and
yeah. And I'm like, that's creepy. Fast forward into time and I landed in there. Guess who was reading that? Me.
We have come full circle, eh?
I'm telling you. So I'm in there reading and everything. And crazy thing is, as I said, initially me and my friends, when we was doing the hip hop thing, we just wanted one night to play our music because radio stations was not playing local music, especially no hip hop music. So we got on, and the one trade off Don Hughes, which was my former boss, what he wanted is, one of you guys got to come in and engineer for a good friend of mine now, Valerie Van Putten, who had a 5 o'clock show, just 1 hour. Right. So my friend Brad at the time, he was already a customer being in there, so he was holding on. Chances are one day he had to go to St. Kitts. He says, I got to fill in. I'm like, what? I was like, no, I can't do that, and it's too much. And he tried to show me. I'm going to tell you this. The first day, for half an hour, she was talking, but the audio wasn't getting up.
Yep, I know that feeling. I've had that happen to me before. You're like, like you get the board, and like for us, we have like, we use iMedia Touch for the screen, and I'm like, woof, what's happening here? No audio, can't hear nothing, hot mess. Great mess. Show, hot mess.
Hot mess. And I was the engineer, so when she came
out,
I was like, I'm so sorry, but the first half hour, nobody heard anything outside because I didn't have this on, and it was mess. But I got the hang of it. And then because I'm such a punctual individual, always on time. I don't say much if I don't have to. And the station manager at the time, he said, "Look, I like how you maneuver. Your partner over there, he's a little extra rowdy because I know how to tame myself, but my partner was like, what? Why? You know what I mean? So he got
different personality for every audience. Exactly. You have to know, right?
Exactly. See, I know how to behave when the time is right.
Correct.
I know how to misbehave when the time is right.
Correct.
Yeah. So one day he tells me, hey, I want you to come in 10 o'clock tomorrow. I'm like, 10 o'clock for what? And he's like, yeah, come in 10 o'clock. I'm like, all right. I came one day. I sat around, didn't do much. The next day I didn't show up. So he calls me like, yo, where you at? I'm like, what? You just let me come in one day? He's like, no, you have a job now. I was like, oh, okay. And
okay.
That's how.
And that was it. Just kind of fell into it.
Yeah, I kind of fell into it. And then one day, that same station manager, but I think he pulled a slick move on me because he left right at the time when you were supposed to read the public service announcements and the obituaries, right? And I'm in there, the music is playing, and nobody's there. I can't find him. So I'm like, yo, okay, I got to read this. And I start to read. And let me tell you, reading in your mind is so different than reading out loud.
Talk the things. Tell the people.
So
they don't understand.
In my mind, I'm a scholar. I'm like, yo, when it started to read out loud, I was like, and I was like, my words. Then when it came time to read the death announcement, some of these names, you hear them, and the spelling when you see it is completely different. And I started messing up people's name. Several times people came to the building like, yo, you messing up this person's name. And I was like, my God. But, repetition keep doing it. And I'm so thankful for that opportunity, because that also helped me develop with reading, with being more articulate and everything. Because in about 2 months, I no longer had to pre-read what I was going to read. I could just pick up anything and read and flow, not a mistake,
And read
not
it.
hit anything, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that. And also because of the acting, I was able to command the stage better.
Yes, that's true. People don't understand. Like, radio is nerve-wracking. If you don't, because in your mind, you know, right? Like, and for me, when I read on radio, I always write out everything phonetically by, you know, just so
Yeah.
if the name has like 3 syllables, I'll cut it up so I know exactly what I'm saying. So people don't understand. Even when I do voiceovers and commercials, sometimes I'm like, my lips are just like, blah, blah, blah. So thank you. Thank you for understanding
Yep. Totally.
broadcasting
I totally
pain.
get it.
And, you know, speaking of what you were doing in radio, you know, an article had also said that you do a lot and have been doing a lot of youth work, and you were able to marry some of what you were doing in radio to some of how you were reaching out to the youth. Can you talk about some of that work that you've been doing?
Yeah, well, definitely. Anytime I'm invited to schools, and I've been invited to like foster care homes and so forth, just to, you know, talk, to give encouragement, to be a mentor to the youth. It empowers me, because, and I feel a sense of responsibility, because I
Right, absolutely.
sincerely wish that I had that growing up. Sincerely
Yeah.
wish I had it growing up. And so much of the youth out there are just, you know, wandering around on their own, no guidance,
Yep.
nobody. And sometimes it's easy to talk down to someone, and it's a little harder to talk face to face and meet them at eye level and try to have an
Oh
understanding.
my God, I say that all the time. It's
Yeah,
talking to somebody, not at somebody. I say that
exactly.
all the time.
And sometimes, you know, because I never forget that I was a kid, you know, and I had my
Yeah.
struggles and everything. And when you have the parent that's just do this, do that, but you're not understanding my frustration, you know, you need that
Right.
person that, and I'm full of tattoos and everything. So when the kids see me come in, it's like, oh, okay, you know, and then
It's
I
one of
break it
us.
down. Yeah, and when I break it down, they like they have more understanding. They're like, yo, I like that, and they could always reach out to me and so forth. And you know, because of the whole pandemic thing, you know, things been different. And now that I have a son as well, you know, it's more challenging, but definitely I always feel compelled to give back.
Yeah, 100%. And I get that. Like, I read, and I didn't want to bring it up, but I know like some of your background, and I read it. The alcoholism runs in my family too. I related to you a lot. And I was just like, oh boy, I totally get this. Like, I totally get it. So I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for sharing your story, because I think that's important. It's that relatability to youth and making sure that they understand we were there and we know. I have a youth conference coming up later this week, so I'll be talking about
Nice.
this as well. So it's interesting. So, you know, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story on that, because I think that's important that the youth understand that. Are you still continuing some of that youth work today? Like, do you still do that?
Well, presently, no, because of the whole pandemic thing, but definitely
Right.
my heart is there. You know, I definitely want to get back into it more heavily and start really pushing, you know, some kind of reform and some kind of thing that, you know, the youth, I think if we catch them at a younger age, then there's less
Yeah.
chance for them to, you know, go wild when they hit the teens, especially in the teenage years. It's like, you know, all hell breaks loose. And when I tell people my story, like with my dad and so forth, they're like, how are you
Yeah.
not crazy or in jail? You know, because my
Yep.
frustration used to be to the roof, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man, life, and maybe, you know, God and the universe has a bigger plan, and we can't hold on to things. You know, that's one thing I tell everyone. You
Yeah.
can't hold on. Growing up, my relationship with my dad was horrible. It's still not the best, but I don't hold on to anything whatsoever. You know, I've
Yeah.
already forgiven him 10 times over, and now he's dependent on me because, you know, he's older, he needs help to go
Yeah.
to the doctor, etc. And, you know, I'm a human being, man. And once you understand that yesterday was gone, you can't do nothing to change it. You can move on from this moment. Let's evolve. Let's do better. Let's work on this and let's heal together, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest message, right? Like understanding that experience can make or break you, but if you allow it to make you, then it will only allow you to grow. Well, I need to write that shit down. So since we're talking about uplifting vibes, this is going to take me right into my next question. So lift me up, the soca track, like right now on repeat. I've been playing in the background. As soon as I heard this shit was dropping, I was like all over it. You, Ricardo Drew, Crown Prince, Tell a Girl. I need to know how the three of you hooked up for this song. Tell me. Tell me now.
First of all, I gotta shout out those individuals. Big up Crown Prince, big up Ricardo
Yes.
Drew. Gotta big up my boy Dollar Sham one time. Wildfire also on the track. Actually, my stepdaughter is actually doing some of the vocals behind my vocals as well. So big up to Tamilia. Yeah,
oh,
and big
that's
up
so
to
cool.
Don Fuego and oh my God, I forgot his name. Lord, I feel so bad.
That's okay. You'll remember as you keep talking. Don't worry.
Yeah,
but big up that person.
But the mastermind behind who mixed and mastered the track, right? So basically, Crown Prince hit me up back in January, February. At the time, I was in Holland. And he hit me up. He's like, yo, I got this rhythm. I want you to jump on it. And I want you to spit the truth. And again, I'm a human being. And at that time, I was feeling my frustrations with the music in general, with life in general. And I was like, all right, when I heard it, it spoke to me. And I'm a very melodic, rhythmic, driven type of person. Like, if I don't like a rhythm, I ain't going.
You can't vibe. You just can't vibe.
No, I don't force anything. I don't force relationships. I don't force anything at all. You know, I don't believe in it. Because if your energy don't flow, then leave it alone, you know? He hit me up with that. I started to write. And every day, like, I would, you know, be commuting or whatever, you know, going up and down and got my headphones on and I'm listening to this track. And I was like, yo, it just started to vibe, you know, and Father, lift me up. Please don't let me down. You know, and I think it's something that everyone can kind of relate to, you know, especially during the challenging times. So when I sent it to him during the pandemic, I sent it to him. I wasn't able to go to the studio, so we did it at home. Sent it to him. He said, yo, I love the track. Do you want to do it alone? Or do you want, we could get Ricardo Drew? I said, let's get Ricardo Drew. And Drew did his thing on it. And let me tell you, I love Drew's verse to the T, you know? And the rest is history. And I hope that we can keep growing the song. And, you know, it definitely is something completely different than what's out there normally, you know?
Yeah.
And it's something that everyone can relate to across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one beef with the song. It's too damn short. Okay? It's too... Crown Prince, Ricardo Drew, everybody who missed... It's too damn short. You should have given me another lyric. I wanted more. And I get it. I get it.
I initially had 2 verses. So they just took
well, what the hell?
And put Ricardo on it.
Don't make me cuss you, eh? You're my new friend. I have to be nice. You know, I'm going to be honest. Like, during this pandemic, it has been hard for everybody. Like, I've been blessed because I had another job, but other people haven't. And this song just hits. Like, even your lyric, listening to it and hearing, like, you've had this choice or you have this choice. Is God going to lead me? Is he going to help me, you know, make the right decision? I needed more. 2 minutes and 38 seconds. No, guys. Get it together. Fix up your life and make the song longer next time, okay? I just have to tell you, that was my beef.
No problem. We'll see what we do.
Okay, that's fine. Then I forgive you. So I get what the song means for everybody who listens to it. For you, though, I guess the more relatable was being able to express your experience and your feelings, and that's where those lyrics really, like, you pulled them out from, right?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's places where I've been, places where you're like, yo, I feel like giving up. I don't want to do this anymore. You know, you keep grinding, you feel like, all right, I'm the type of person that I look, where am I now? 6 months ago I was here, where am I today? How are we gonna move forward? And life can be tough, man. Life can be tough with the setbacks, with the down.
Who you telling?
And
yeah,
you know,
man.
You start to question yourself, you know? Sometimes it's like, and I understand the you know, because I still have a lot of friends that still very much attached to the street aspect of life and everything. They're like, this is all I know, you know? And you can tell them it doesn't have to be, but in a sense, when it's all you know, it's like, all right.
They have no choice. They have no choice. I still have friends. Yeah, I still have friends in the street too. I lost 2 friends to gun violence, and it's the same thing. You can tell them as much as you want, but at the end of the day, if they don't know any better, and you know, you can try to give them a hand to help out. But if they don't know any better because they don't know any other way, then yeah, it's hard to get them out of that. And I think that's the key thing with you connecting with the youth, because if you get them young enough where you can show them there are other options and they can change your life, then it's the best way to get to them, right?
Yeah.
So this leads me to my other question. So with the pandemic and everything, like we said, life has been rough. You always have this way of engaging this like strong positivity on all your social media. What's one advice, if anybody was locked on that's even struggling right now, that you would give to them to kind of lift them up?
You
Oh,
know,
that's a tough one. I cut you off
yeah,
guard
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Because
Or maybe
honestly,
even tell them what you did during the pandemic to bring yourself out of the, you know, the just the
yeah.
everything.
Well, what I did during the pandemic, because I had just recently, I don't know if you heard the song Hana Kana. I don't know if you got a chance
I
to
heard
listen
a
to
piece
that.
of it. A
Yeah.
piece
So
of it.
it's what we have in here in St. Martin is the Carnival Village. So we don't have like fets in different places. We just have one central location. And when you go
Right.
into this Carnival Village, on the left, on your right hand side, up in the corner, we like to call it the Hana Kana because obviously a lot of Hanas go on, right? So I had my whole thing played out. I was about to print merch and everything, and then when the lockdown, quarantine, pandemic hit, all your
Yep.
plans fell through. I had plans to be back in Europe in June as well in October. So when everything
Yeah.
crumbled, the first week or so, the first 2 weeks, I was home like, all right, this is getting kind of scary.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? I've always
Right.
dabbled, having to do my own like little graphics, and I dabbled in Photoshop, Premiere Pro. And then one day I was just browsing, and I was like, you know what? I need to get certified in certain things. So I actually signed up to some online courses. I did Google Digital Marketing, got certified
Oh,
in After Effects, did a course on Google AdWords as well, got certified in that, did Photoshop courses, and then I created my company called Supremo Media. And I've been fortunate
congrats.
enough, yeah, thank you. I've been fortunate enough to still, as you said, get opportunities and make some kind of living off of that, whilst the
Yeah.
music been on a kind of standstill. So, and because some of my links, when people see you by affiliation, they're like, Verse, what you got going on? I'm like, okay, I could do this for you, that for you, and you make
Yeah.
it work, just to make a buck. Because in the end of the day, I still got a family to feed and everything, and I'm not one of those that will fold my hands and pout and cry and whine. It's like, yo, sometimes you got to think about, all right, my situation is rough, but think about
Yeah.
somebody else that's even rougher. If you guys want to
Yep.
do you want to get grimy with it. Just last night I came across some prison in Madagascar where these people are literally sleeping on top of each other. I'm like, imagine being in that.
Oh, no,
So then when you put yourself
exactly.
back and you're like, you know what, I got a house clothes on, I'm good. It's time to grind.
Yeah.
And I look at
Yeah.
life like that. So every time I'm feeling like down, I'm like, all right, there's somebody worse than me. There are situations in countries and places that are far worse than where I am. And
Yeah.
by looking at that, I'm like, you know what? Let me not feel sorry for myself. Get up, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best advice you can give everyone, somebody, when you think you got it bad, somebody else got it worse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Before I ask you this next question, I've been wanting to tell you this whole interview. Has anybody ever told you you look like a really young Peter Guns?
No. Not
Forget
at all.
Lord Tariq. Ain't nobody got time for Lord Tariq. But anybody tell you you look like a young Peter, anybody who's a hip hop head knows exactly who I'm talking about, right?
I know Peter
But
Guns
you
for
just look,
sure.
because I'm looking at you, I'm like, wow, he really does look like a really young, better version of Peter Guns. Nobody's
Thank
ever
you.
told you that. Let me be the first.
Thank you.
So you're
And
rocking the hat, and
I actually met him in Aruba.
you
He went
did?
to Soul Beach. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you have to tell the story now. I need to
No,
know.
we was doing a broadcast with Laser 101. We was remotely there for Soul Beach. And he comes and straight into where we were, and he's like, everybody hail him up, took pictures, whatever, and he was like, yo, cool. I think we interviewed him as well.
Oh, I'm so jealous. You can't catch him now. He's too much love in hip hop, but
Right?
hey.
Right? So it
So
goes.
I gotta ask, because you're wearing the hat right now. I always see you promote, and I don't, and excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. I know it might be a brand. It's something that's in St. Martin for the people, the SXM. Please tell
Well,
me about this.
SXM is the like, kind of like the airport code, and like just an abbreviation we have for St. Martin. So we just call it
Right.
SXM. And you gotta rep where you're from. It's a
Yes.
beautiful place, and it's all I know. And
Yeah.
I'm very like much attached to St. Martin, and I'm like, yo, there's a local guy, actually the guy who prints these caps. Every time you buy a cap, he plants a tree. So it's
Oh,
for a good
I like
cause.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
And I used to print my own shirts before, heat press, and you know, I was always very much into like doing my own thing and, you know, repping where I'm from and so forth, as everyone should, you know. And, you know, many times the tourism office, they've tapped into me to be kind of like a, you know, cultural ambassador, and they've helped me to get
I
to
saw
certain destinations.
that.
Well,
I've
yeah.
seen that on your Instagram. Even during the pandemic, you had posted a video about, you know, some of the, and like every small island or country, we've all got our things going on government-wise, you know, people-wise, money, wages. And so I saw that video and I was like, oh, you got to be an ambassador. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And
Thank
let
you.
people
Thank
know,
you.
you know, the island is beautiful though. The St. Martin people, you guys are just humble ass people and I love it. Love
Wait
it.
till you reach. Wait till you reach.
I know, damn pandemic go mess up the whole thing.
We
So
have
I
people
have
here
to
from
say it
all
again.
walks of life. You'll find everything here.
Yeah. You got a mix of everybody, which is so nice, and I love that.
Yeah.
So looking at your Instagram, because you know I've been creeping, you're also an adventurist. You like to
Yeah.
do the bike riding, and
Yeah.
tell me some of the adventures that you've been on, or something that you've taken like when you were in lockdown that you're kind of still doing now.
Yeah. Well, definitely the mountain biking, because there's some back trails, because they had, you know, barricades, they blocked the roads, so, you know, there were
Yep.
police all over. You go back home, but there are some back trails that nobody was policing, so I was like, jump on my mountain bike and I'm up there. But I
And
fell in
just
love with
go.
mountain biking about 2 years now, and it's just an addiction. And when you get lost in the hills, it's like peace. There's nobody, unless you go with friends,
Yeah.
but there's nobody. There's total peace, and you just stop. You admire the view and the tranquility, the fresh air,
Yeah.
of course. And you know, I like to do my hiking. I'm a PADI certified diver as well. I do a lot of
Oh, that's
snorkeling. Yeah, yeah, and the beach, you know, and then I'm always up for an adventure. So anytime
yeah.
I'm like, yo, where we going this weekend? And a lot of times I do it by myself because I'm not the type to wait around on anybody. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to ask, have you ever been to Toronto?
once I've been to Toronto back in 2001. Spent about two, three
And what
weeks.
were you here for? Our carnival?
No, actually went for it was like summer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one of my friends, good friends from St. Martin, my boy Levan, he used to live in Canada. So we just spent about 2, 3 weeks up there, hung out. It was cool.
No, you got to come back then. Not in winter time, because right now it's a little gray and a little cold, but come back in the summer after pandemic, you'll have a good time. So
No,
I
for
gotta
sure.
know, King Verse, what do you have musically coming? Like we only have less than what, 7 weeks to 2020, a new year's coming. And you know, I have to say as a fan and a new fan, I want more music from you. So what are you working on? What can you tell us?
Well, you know, actually, funny thing, I had a dream last night because I have this one song that I have there working on, and it's one of those. It's called "Who Shot You," you know, and it kind of ties into the whole, you know, Black Lives Matter, yes, but more so for the street aspect because, you know, I'm colorblind. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Not really colorblind, but I'm colorblind
No,
to
but
humanity, you know?
yeah.
And all the walks of life and in every part of the world, we are losing too many young men, young women to violence because
Yep.
of differences in religion, skin color,
Yep.
you know, practices, whatever, you know, and the song kind of touches base on that because I don't just want to do, every day I don't feel like jumping up and winding up. I'll keep it real, you know?
Yeah,
And I have some
absolutely.
songs in the vault for that, but I think it's time that we apply more substance into the world, you know, especially being all that we're going through right now. We need songs of substance because, you know, we really need, as human beings, we need like to resolve our issues. And I know it's not going to be overnight, or because when you think about it, historically, humans been destroying themselves from since they saw.
We're the most violent race ever existed.
Yeah.
We are the most violent race.
Yeah. But I'm looking to
And
drop
we do
something
appreciate
else.
it.
I want to ride the wave of this Lift Me Up a little minute. You know, we do have, you know, plans for it and everything. So, you know, gonna talk to my boy Crown Prince, see what else he has in store. Big up to my boy Dollar Sham, see if they got anything cooking up, you know. And I definitely would like to do more collaborations with other artists out there as well. And, you know, keep the thing going.
That's what I was going to ask you. If there's anybody, let's just say, you know, if there's anybody for 2021, I'll give you two. You could pick two that you want to collaborate with immediately. Immediately that you could.
That's so hard. Too, you know how many good artists out there?
I know it's bad. I shouldn't ask. But I got to know if you could connect with them immediately, you had everything lined up, who would be your top picks? Or you can name off whoever. I don't care. I need to know. Who would you work with? You can name off whoever you want. I want to know who you would want to work with.
Oh man, you know, I have always you may nah. You ain't trapping me. You ain't trapping me in this.
He's like, no, I'm not doing it. Fine.
Too many artists.
Then my only request is give me an album or a next song next year. I need something.
Like Bungie is one of the maddest lyricists I've ever, you know, found in my life. Even I'll keep it real. Even better than some hip hop artists. Then a lot of
100%.
You know,
100%. I agree.
I've been fortunate enough to see him a couple of times here in St. Martin and also in Anguilla, and it's just mind blowing. So you know, Bungie is there, of course. You know, Marshall, of course. You know, I had the opportunity to grace the same stage as him last year, and you know, you make this too hard, man. You make this too hard.
I almost dropped you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
The other artists like, yeah, go check them too. Don't check me.
Yeah. Oh, you want to go with him? Then go. I don't want to talk to you. Go.
Yeah.
This is my hand. Go on here.
It's a lot of artists.
There is a lot of artists. I think for me as a fan, I think seeing you with Bungie would be dope because he's such a lyricist and he's so positive, and him and Fan are on that journey, and then you are as well, and you come from the hip hop background. I think you guys would make like some crazy ass track. That's just what's going on in my head, but yeah. Oh, that would be dope. We're going to manifest it in the atmosphere for 2021. King Verse is going to do something with Bungie Garlin and Fayan. I said it.
Boom. All right.
People better remember. It was me that said it. That's it. This has been awesome. Oh my God. Thank you so much for talking to me. I gotta ask, can you give us a sample of Lift Me Up?
Of Lift Me Up? No problem. First of all, I want to say thank you to you, though, and, you know, big up the entire team, Mooney, Planet Soca, big up to my boy Sham, of course, Crown Prince, Ricardo Drew. Appreciate you guys, you know, being on this track, and it means a lot to me as well, and, you know, the song is just, it's a different wave, you know what I mean? But for you, we're going to do it like this. Mama been down for a minute, Papa been out for a while, think I'm about to reach my limit, it's getting really hard to smile. Situations got me feeling bleak. The pressure mounting up, I can't lie. Some days I don't even want to speak. These emotions got me running wild. See, I've been on this road for so long. It's getting way too heavy for me to carry on. Now I'm just one shot away from busting my gun. 2 songs away from getting 1 hit. 2 ways to go, which way do I run? Father, please help me with this and lift me up. Hey. Please don't let me down, Father, lift me up. Please don't let me down, don't let me down.
That was cool. Thank you so much. First, you're awesome. Government name, Darren.
Yes, you nailed it, you nailed it.
I did it. See, I knew. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to have met you and connected with you, and I can't wait to see more and stay connected with you. Of course, big up your whole island, all the beautiful people in St. Martin. You guys are awesome. This track is awesome. Ride this wave. It's such a beautiful track with Ricardo True and Crown Prince. I love it, and I know a lot of people do as well. So thank you so much for being here on season 2, our first guest of the Zone.
I'm very humbled.
Thank you.
I'm very, very humbled, and I appreciate. And of course, you know, we'll stay connected. And soon the pandemic done, you come and say, Maarten.
That's it. I have a lot of places to travel post-pandemic, eh? Like my passport will real get stamped next year. That's all I know. That's it. I'm packing a bag. I'm quitting my job, and I'm traveling. That's it. That's it. I'm just gonna do it.
Yep. But once again, man, I want to big up, big up Mooney, big up Planet Soca, big up yourself. Really, really appreciate it. Big up to my boy Crown Prince, Ricardo Drew, Dollar Sham, everybody. Thank you guys, and until the next one.
Until the next one, thank you, King Verse. I appreciate you. Have a blessed day. Get some rest. Enjoy the sun, because I know it's out over there. It just ain't over here.
Definitely. Definitely. Thank
God
you
bless you. Have a good one to you and your family.
You too. Take care.
Okay. Bye. Oh my God, that's it, everybody. That was season 2, premiere episode 1 with King Verse. He's so handsome, can I just say? And big up Planet Soca, big up RiddimStream, big up our sponsors Mavert Customs, DJ Simply Smooth, InVIBE Gear, Mista Roots, Wiz Records, and of course, Board Games Fit. I'm so excited for what we have to bring to everybody for season 2. We're going to be doing a giveaway as well, so stay tuned for that. There's more hot guests coming as the season goes on. I thank you guys so much. It's your girl, MC Nads, and I will see you all next week, Saturday, episode 2 of The Zone, right here at Planet Soca 1. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yo, Prince.
King Voss.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, Lord. Mama been down for a minute. Papa been out for a while. Think I'm about to reach my limits. It's getting really hard to smile. Situations got me feeling bleak. Pressure mounting up, I can't lie. Some days I don't even wanna speak. These emotions got me running wild. See, I've been on this road for so long. It's getting way too heavy.